Imagine a world where the temperature plummets 30 degrees below zero, where the wind chill slices through even the most advanced synthetic fabrics, and where survival depends on massive, constantly running furnaces. This is the reality of the Tibetan Plateau, an environment so brutally cold that it should be incompatible with sustained human life. Yet for centuries, the monks of the high Himalayas have not only survived these conditions, but thrived in them, often wearing little more than thin robes while maintaining a comfortable core temperature. They do this not through complex technology or endless fossil fuels, but through a profound mastery of ancient wisdom. Modern engineering spends billions trying to heat our poorly designed buildings. Meanwhile, these monks unlock a source of warmth that exists deep within the human body itself. If you are fascinated by the intersection of ancient wisdom and modern science, please take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe. Your support helps us uncover more of these incredible stories that defy conventional understanding. Our journey takes us high above the tree line, where oxygen is scarce and the sun is a cruel deceiver, offering intense UV radiation but little actual warmth. We are exploring the secrets embedded within the high walls of the Potala Palace and the remote monasteries clinging to the mountainsides. The question is simple. How do these ancient structures and the people who inhabit them achieve thermal regulation in conditions that cause modern infrastructure to fail catastrophically? The answer is a spectacular blend of revolutionary architectural physics and an internal meditative practice known as tumo, or the yoga of inner heat. The story begins with the failures of our own modern world. In many Western cities, we rely on a constant, expensive, and energy-intensive mechanical battle against nature. We build structures primarily out of glass and steel, materials that are excellent thermal conductors, meaning they rapidly bleed internal heat into the freezing exterior air during winter and bake the interiors during summer. To compensate, we install massive HVAC systems that require staggering amounts of energy. When the power goes out, or when a system fails, these buildings become death traps in the cold, a testament to technological hubris over environmental respect. Contrast this failure with the monasteries of Tibet. These structures, often built over 800 years ago, are monuments to passive energy design. They represent an entirely different philosophy, working with nature, not against it. The primary building material is not steel or concrete, but thick, packed earth, stone, and sometimes mud brick, materials collectively known for their immense thermal mass. Thermal mass is the ability of a material to absorb, store, and release heat slowly. During the intense, high-altitude daytime sun, the massive walls of a monastery absorb thermal energy. Even if the outside air temperature is low, the walls soak up this radiant heat. As the sun sets and the outside temperature plummets, these walls begin to slowly radiate the stored heat inward, maintaining a remarkably stable and survivable temperature inside the monastery's core living spaces throughout the night. Furthermore, the design of these traditional Tibetan buildings is deliberately defensive. Windows are typically small and positioned to maximize southern exposure, capturing passive solar gain while minimizing the surface area through which heat can escape. The buildings often feature tiered or stepped structures, utilizing the natural slope of the mountain to provide insulation for lower floors. Lower levels, often partially underground, benefit from the Earth's natural geothermal temperature stability, providing a cool haven in summer and a slightly warmer base layer in winter. Even the orientation of the monastery complex is calculated, often facing specific directions to shelter from prevailing cold winds and maximize sun exposure in crucial areas like courtyards and meditation halls, creating microclimates within the harsh macro environment. The construction techniques themselves are ancient and ingenious. Rammed earth walls, sometimes several feet thick, act as a perfect thermal buffer, delaying the transfer of temperature fluctuations from the outside to the inside. This delay is crucial on the plateau, where temperatures can swing wildly from below freezing at night to mildly warm during the day. The architecture smooths out these brutal peaks and troughs, ensuring a consistent internal environment without relying on external energy inputs. It is essentially a giant self-regulating battery, storing solar energy during the day and discharging it at night. However, architecture alone cannot explain the most extreme feats of survival. Many monks practice meditation in unheated, high-altitude caves or sleep outdoors in the snow.
This is where the second and arguably more profound secret comes into play, the practice of tummo, or inner fire meditation. Tummo is not merely a spiritual exercise. It is a sophisticated psychophysiological technique that allows practitioners to consciously regulate their own core body temperature. For decades, Western scientists dismissed claims of inner heat generation as folklore, but rigorous scientific studies conducted since the 1980s have proven these claims to be astonishingly true. One of the most famous studies involved researchers from Harvard University who monitored monks performing tummo. The results were undeniable. The monks were able to raise their peripheral body temperature in their fingers and toes by as much as 8.3 degrees Celsius, and more critically, they could increase their core body temperature by several degrees. This is a level of physiological control previously thought impossible for humans. The most dramatic demonstration of tummo involves the drying of wet sheets. Monks wearing only thin robes sit in sub-zero temperatures, and wet sheets are draped over them. They enter deep meditation, and the heat generated by their bodies is sufficient to cause steam to rise from the sheets, eventually drying them completely. This must be repeated several times as the sheets are continually replaced with cold, wet ones. The mechanism behind tummo primarily involves two distinct meditative techniques. The first is vase breathing, or bumpakon. This is a specific form of controlled, deep, and forceful breathing that involves retention and pressure. The monk inhales deeply, holds the breath, and then contracts the lower abdominal muscles, creating internal pressure that some researchers suggest stimulates the sympathetic nervous system and increases metabolic rate. The intense, rapid breathing coupled with retention significantly increases oxygen intake and, crucially, increases the basal metabolic rate, generating heat from within the body's core. The second component is the visualization aspect, or the mystic heat. Monks visualize flames rising up the central channel of their body, focusing intensely on warmth radiating outward from the solar plexus. While visualization might sound purely psychological, the connection between mind and body is potent. Scientists hypothesize that this intense concentration, combined with the physiological stress of the breathing technique, triggers a cascade of neurological responses, potentially bypassing the normal hypothalamic mechanisms that regulate temperature and overriding the body's natural response to shiver. Shivering is inefficient and uses up energy reserves quickly. Tummo provides a steady, controlled internal furnace. The monks, therefore, possess two layers of insulation that modern humans have lost: the architectural wisdom of their ancestors and the physiological mastery of their own minds. In the monastery, the thick walls provide the macroclimate control, mitigating the worst of the external environment. Within that controlled space, the monk employs tummo to fine-tune their personal microclimate, ensuring absolute thermal comfort and conserving vital energy that would otherwise be spent shivering or fighting the cold. The integration of these two systems, the external and the internal, is the true secret. The architecture saves energy by utilizing the sun and the earth. The meditation conserves biological energy by utilizing the mind. Where modern buildings are passive consumers requiring active mechanical input, the Tibetan model is an active living system where the inhabitants are fully integrated into the thermal strategy. They are not merely occupants, they are controllers. Imagine a simple, thick-walled stone hut on the plateau. During a harsh winter storm, a modern occupant would be freezing, relying on an external power source. A tummo practitioner, however, can sit comfortably, generating the exact amount of internal heat necessary to counteract the heat loss through the small windows and door. The monk is essentially a walking, self-regulating thermostat, able to manipulate the most fundamental biological processes. This ancient practice forces a reconsideration of what is truly primitive and what is truly advanced. Is it advanced to rely on complex, fragile machinery, or is it advanced to achieve total self-sufficiency through internal mastery? The most significant finding from the scientific exploration of tummo is not just that it generates heat, but that it demonstrates an incredible level of autonomic control. The autonomic nervous system governs involuntary functions like heart rate, digestion, and temperature regulation. Western science traditionally held that these systems were beyond conscious control. Tummo proves that deep, disciplined meditative practice can bridge the gap between the conscious and unconscious mind, granting the practitioner mastery over functions once deemed automatic.
This has profound implications far beyond just staying warm. It suggests pathways for treating everything from stress-related illnesses to immune deficiencies. The monk's ability to withstand the cold is merely a visible symptom of a far deeper, more transformative science. They have bypassed the need for technological crutches by transforming the only structure that truly matters, the human body itself. Modern buildings fail because they treat human comfort as an external problem to be solved with more energy. The Tibetan wisdom treats comfort as an internal state, achieved through mastery and synchronization with the environment. The lesson from the Tibetan plateau is a powerful critique of our unsustainable modern life. We are obsessed with insulating our structures and ignoring our bodies. The monks teach us that true sustainability involves resilience, resourcefulness, and internal focus. If modern architects and engineers took the principles of high thermal mass and passive solar gain seriously, integrating them with the wisdom of human adaptation, we could drastically reduce global energy consumption and create structures that harmonize with their environments rather than dominating them. The cold walls of the monasteries whisper a profound truth. The most reliable technology is that which requires no batteries, no wiring, and no external fuel, powered only by the breath and the focused mind. It is time we learned to look inward for the warmth we so desperately seek externally. What other ancient wisdom do you think modern science should investigate? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this journey into the Himalayas insightful, please share this video with a friend. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next exploration of the world's greatest secrets.